Hey guys, Thurian Still Gaming here with yet another video. On today's video, I want to talk about the Hogwarts Legacy Game Showcase number 2. The Gameplay Showcase showed three major things today. They showed, one, the traversal with the broom and also the flying mounts, and they also showed the landscape of the giant map, and it looked absolutely gorgeous. The second part they showed was the Dark Arts Arena and how the combat was inside there, and using spells that we haven't seen before in the game. And then the third one was about the Room of Requirement. And this was actually pretty good. This was like, it almost felt like a separate part of the game. This like could be a game of itself. Very sim-like type of stuff. So we're not going to go over the Dark Arts and we're not going over the Room of Requirement. This video is just meant to look at the traversal of the wide open world and what's in it. So let's get to it. So as the game starts off here, or the show starts off, they started off exactly where they left off. Different character, but in the exact same spot. And now they're showing us this wide open vista area here with the mountains in the background. You see the balloons, you see the trees as far as the eye can see. And obviously, just like all other open world games, if you can see it, you can go there. And this is actually pretty amazing. It looks very beautiful, very, very awesome. And all of a sudden you see him pull the broomstick out. Magic. And then he starts to fly. And I have to say, the very first moment that you start to fly with the broomstick, it feels like you can feel the wind. You see the little smoke or the mist in the air as you're going through, and it feels like you're actually flying. I actually like the animations of it. It's almost like he's riding a motorcycle, but at the same time, it looks very, very fluid. It feels very natural as he's going through. As you're going through the actual trees, this actually feels good. And you actually see people walking around, so it feels pretty good. Now, the dev did say that the broom has a little meter at the bottom over here, okay? And when you're down low, it stays as is. But as the higher you go, the lower it gets, right? So the broom, you can fly up high and whatnot, but the actual point of the broom is to get you around and keep you close to the ground. Keep you within I would say, to keep you engaged with the map, I would say maybe tree height, maybe a little higher than tree height as you fly through, but you can see the attention to detail. There's a couple of pop-ins that happen, but I don't really care about that type of stuff. I mean, as long as it doesn't pop in 2 seconds right before I'm there and you can see it in the background, it gets popped in, no big deal. As you see him flying through, you see people walking around. This world feels alive. Now, a lot of people would look at this and go, there's not enough things going on. I want you to go out into nature and see how many people are walking around, how many animals you see. We know there's animals out there, but you don't come across them all that much because they all pretty much stay away. So you see this is like lived in. You see the community walking the paths where the roads are, the trees. This is like the autumn time. You see the trees turning colors. You see like where buildings used to be. You see little villages and towns. There's cemeteries. This feels very, very cool. This feels very explorative, like you want to go out and just explore. Like, you could probably play this game and not even bat an eye of actually doing missions and things. Just flying around and seeing what you can find. Games like Spider-Man, when you're flying around Manhattan, just exploring it, or AC, any kind of Assassin's Creed, or Skyrim, this all looks very, very beautiful, and really attention to detail is amazing. This makes me almost want like a Lord of the Rings as well, a game like this. So beautiful animations as well with the magic that's happening. The guy's conducting a band. He's got a crowd. The way you put your broom away looked very, very cool. There's a lot of little different spells and little things that happen in this game that I think just the little attention to detail that all the devs have done has done very well. You can see you pull your wand out and he gave it a tip. I think he tipped it. I don't think he stole from him. But look at this. Look at this little hut up against the tree. Look how old it looks and feels. And they've done such an amazing job of this landscape, of this whole design. I was just blown away by this whole thing. I was blown away when we walked around Hogwarts itself. But going out into the world now and seeing all of this and how the signs are and the grass and the dirt and the other people living in this world, it almost feels like a Red Dead Redemption. And what I mean by that is Red Dead Redemption felt like, even Grand Theft Auto does this, like if you follow an NPC, they're going somewhere. It feels like these people are going somewhere or doing something with their life inside the actual game, and it makes it even feel more authentic as you're in it. So as you're walking through, the devs at this point were saying that you also have other mounts you can do, and as a fantastic beast, you can actually pull out animals out of your little bag of magic here. You can see you can interact with certain things like this. Now, obviously, you see on the bar on the far right, there was this quick little hidden page that was there, and you can also pick up the mug. Now, I like that you can pick up the mug, but I'm also a person that looks at it and says, the attention to detail of me picking up a mug, I wish that mug did something. I wish it gave me like a buff or something along the lines of like I'm interacting with it and there's a reason to interact with it except of just picking up a beer, because this is not, or a mead, this is not an online game, so you're in your own little world. Here's a beautiful thing. He pulls out his bag, and all of a sudden, you have this mythical creature that pops out, and you see it that you could ride on the ground like a horse, or you could start flying. And I was just like, wow, this is really, really cool. Again, the immersion, the immersiveness of this whole world as you fly. And now this, as you can see, doesn't have a bar, and you can fly as high as you want. Obviously, there's a height limit on this, but it's just absolutely gorgeous as you fly through the trees. Some people might look at this and go, oh, well, so unrealistic. Their wings are hitting the trees. But obviously, that's not what I'm thinking. I'm thinking this is just absolutely gorgeous. I would just want to fly around this map. Now, you can actually see a whole bunch of little markers popping up, and there's people, like enemies maybe, perhaps, on the ground. Now, the upper corner says the tool wheel, L1, is useful for dealing with high-level combat situations. Combat plants, potions can give you advantage against tougher enemies. So as he flies into this area, you can see it change into like a very misty, like a bog type of place. So this is, it feels like there's harder enemies in this location and whatnot. You can see a couple of little red dots on the screen. There's a couple of markers on there as well. And then he flies over the mountain towards the windmill, and then kind of like swoops around the windmill. This is a beautiful shot. Again, this is just more distance. Obviously, there's a little bit, and you can see the coast of the water over there, so that's the end of the map, as you can see. But this little area here is not a little area at all. Very, very large in scale. Plenty of stuff to do and see and explore. You see the little balloons down there, which I would assume is some sort of game that you have to do. Maybe you're not playing Quidditch, but you're taking your broom and like flying through the obstacle course, maybe a speed. They do change time frame here. They jumped ahead, and this is the winter time, and they can show you swooping down what the way the land looks now. Same exact place he was, but now it's during winter, and it looks phenomenal. It feels cold. I mean, it literally feels like you're in a much colder atmosphere. I almost want to like bundle up and put a jacket on. So you can see the little areas where I see little structures like that, and obviously I feel like there's going to be collectible items there, reasons to go find. Maybe they said in the room of requirements that you'll go out into missions and certain things to find like furniture or different cosmetics. So the map's probably just filled with loot and whatnot to go around. But that's just my assumption. We don't know for sure yet. But based on what they said, obviously you're going to want to explore around the world and see what it has. Plus, there's also enemies out there. Enemies out there, as you can see, the red dots on the mini-map in the bottom left-hand corner. You would probably, obviously just like any other game, knock guys out, kill those guys, beat those guys, and then loot would drop, and then you would have different spells, different things to find and whatnot, and that's pretty cool. As he's flying through the forest, this just looks, again, very impressive. How fast you're going through, how mystical, I guess, it feels. He's backing around, and you can see in the distance, you see Hogwarts Castle, and that's just a really cool sight, and how you're flying towards it, and it almost feels like, I don't know if anyone's ever done the drive from California to Las Vegas, but it almost feels that epic when you're flying this mount over, and you see that Vegas sign in the background. This is it. This is the Hogwarts version of that. So you're in the Harry Potter world, you're flying in, and you see the castle in the background with all this landscape in front of it, and it just looks very, very beautiful and whatnot. So as he swings through, you can see the thick forest on the left. You see the open like farmland over to the right as he's flying through. You see people walking and running, and you see animals in the fields, and you see just like, again, the world feels like it's just booming. And that's basically it. The next video we do is going to be the Dark Arts video of the fighting and the combat and whatnot, and then we'll also do the Room of Requirements video as well. If you like this type of video, please make sure you share, like, and subscribe, and I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.